and switch it up. Oh, and I am blurry right off the bat.
What is up, boys and girls?
Gotta warm them hands up.
Dude, this is a nice streaming setup. Is this like, did you do this or is this
Yeah,
like a
yeah. It
hack?
went. So me and Flip, we've been. This has been in the works for a while. Okay.
For a while.
We
For
we're
about a hot minute, at
hot
least.
minute. We're
Hot
some
minute.
big gamers, and we thought
Yes,
it'd be
indeed.
fun to go back and forth and decide what is the best game. So the title is the best PS4 game ever, but we're not just doing exclusives. We're gonna be doing pretty much the games, the top 32 games that we have both played, or at least played some of, maybe not all, and we're gonna decide what is the best game of the last generation. And so the rules are
Letting in
gonna
my
be
answer right now.
yeah, yeah. So the rules are gonna be obviously there's two of us, so we're gonna both give our vote for each round, and depending on if we agree, if we both agree and we both like the same game, then we're going to move on to the next round. But me and Flip,
Okay.
we have very different tastes in gaming. So, and y'all are all gonna see that. So, if we disagree
hmm
on a game, I'm gonna create a straw poll, and that's where you guys in chat. I see you, FX, Duddy, Izzy. That's where all you guys are gonna come in. I'll put the straw poll in the chat, and you're gonna vote. And then after the next round, whatever has the most votes is gonna be the winner of that round. So, how does that sound,
All
Flip?
right. Sounds perfect to me, dude. Let's do it.
All right. Now, before we start, the people know you, Flip. I know you. You're my boy. But let's let the people know a little bit about your gaming side. So two questions.
Okay.
First question: what is the most recent game you've been playing? And second question: what is the game from your childhood that you love the most?
So, my favorite game of all time, which is a game from my childhood,
Hmm.
is Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Um,
Oh.
my parents growing up, when they first opened the restaurant, they didn't have a lot of money. So they would only buy me games like once a year. And for whatever reason, my mom found Link to the Past, bought it for me, and I've played that game probably close to 200, 300 times. It's a work of art.
Oh, geez.
Um, I love it. A game I'm playing recently is Fall Guys. Everyone's playing Fall Guys. But besides that, I am playing Crimson Clover World Ignition, which is a bullet hell game.
Oh.
So it's on Steam. It was $10. It's pretty fun. But other than that, just the same old crap of JRPG shmup. Xenoblade Chronicles Remastered. I forgot about that. That's probably the most recent real game that I've been playing.
Nice, nice. I too have been playing a bit of Fall Guys. I see FX is or no, Duddy is saying Flip sucks at Fall Guys. So
What do you mean, dude? I got my first W last night.
yeah, you might
What are you
have to
talking
prove him
about?
wrong on stream, Flip.
You're nuts, dude.
So what? Hey, is I see that, and I'm gonna ignore it because I know that's cap. So what you guys can see on the left screen is our bracket. So I'm gonna zoom out real quick. Here is gonna be the full list of 32. Whoa! And so we're gonna be going one at a time, and eventually getting to that final winner. Me and Flip, we've talked about it, but we both think are our favorite games, and they're different. So we're gonna see what
Very
gets
different.
there, and what gets cut. So starting off round one, and by the way, these rankings are based off of the Metacritic scores. So the number one game, Red Dead Redemption 2, that had the highest Metacritic score overall, and Code Vein from our list had the lowest. So to start off round one, we got Red Dead Redemption 2 and Code Vein. So Flip, how about you start? Tell me who you're taking this round.
I'm gonna pick Code Vein. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a beautiful steaming pile of crap. Is one of the most disappointing games I've ever played in my entire life, especially the sequel to
Ooh.
one of my favorite games. Period. Red Dead Redemption is the first one, and Red Dead Revolver as well, are both incredible games. I've played hundreds of hours of Red Dead. The changes they made to the second one is they made it a simulator, and I don't I'm not a simulator guy. There's just too many things you got to keep track of. It's not fun. When I play a game, if I'm in the mood for like a hardcore game like that, it's usually on the PC. But Red Dead is like a sit down on the couch type of game, relax after a day of work. And it was frustrated. It was very cumbersome to play. And overall, I just think it was a very, very beautiful game, but it's a very bad game. Now, Code Vein, on the other hand, is a solid 7.5, but I still think it's better than Red Dead. Code Vein has some really cool mechanics that they add to the whole Souls-like genre. One of them being is that you always have someone with you. So if you're new to that genre, you can you always have like you always have an NPC character with you, and it makes things a little easier. I like the art design. I like the character creator is very vast. The weapon systems and the whole blood system is really cool as well. So I think as a system, like I like systems, but I don't like systems when it's like a very simulator like game like Red Dead. So if I had to pick something, I would pick Code Vein over Red Dead any day of the week.
We're starting controversial right out the bat, and I like it. So I played it Red Dead 2, played a bit of Code Vein, not a lot, but I played enough of Red Dead 2 to know that. And before we go on, we need to be clear. This is not, we're not saying what is this is our opinions. This is our personal best game of the last generation. So, yes, you could technically break down why Red Dead 2 is better than Code Vein, but I loved Red Dead 1 mainly because of how lovable the main character was. And in Red Dead 2, it looked phenomenal. There's a lot of fun quests, but I think it's very overrated. And for a lot of points that Flip mentioned. And, Code Vein, while I didn't play much of it, it's a great entry for someone who's wanting to dip their toe into a Souls-like game, but it also has got that nice anime style. So I'm not going to argue with you on this one, Flip. I think we're both in agreement that we're taking Code Vein.
I like that. I like that agreement. So we got Code Vein.
Okay, so
winner.
We got Code Vein. See how do I move this? So this is all. Oh, okay. Hold up, guys. I gotta create an account first. This is a technical difficulty right here. So bear with me.
Create an account.
You like that transition?
It still hasn't popped up for me yet, but I think it will in a second. A little bit of a delay. I like the whole. Oh, beautiful choice. I like the whole, like the triangle, the square, the X, the circle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you know? Did you know that in Japan, instead of confirm with X, it's circle?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, like, whenever you get a game from Japan, like you import it, it's always circle instead of X.
Is that why for the longest time there was that's how it was for like the you know why I know that? Because I got a PS Vita from Japan. and it was whenever I'm in the homepage I have to press circle to go back, press A and stuff like that. Okay, what the
Yep.
All right, I might have goofed up.
Geeked up. We up.
All right, I gotta re-enter this.
The whole list. Holy shit!
It shouldn't take long. I just gotta type it out.
It didn't save it for you?
Dude, I thought it was gonna save it for me, and it cut everything. I didn't make an account.
Holy shit!
So meanwhile, we're gonna entertain chat.
Okay. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. Are we? Talium says he hopes he hasn't missed out on much. You haven't missed out on a lot, man. We just did the first round, and we decided very controversially that Code Vein is better than Red Dead, which I'm actually surprised you, Sam, you were like, yeah, that's it. You were super easy to
See,
let that one go.
if I'm not that passionate about the game, I'm okay with just letting it slide. You know, there's gonna be some games that I would be like, you know, this is probably a better game, but you know, I didn't really like it that much.
I think the next one was it Spider-Man versus Dragon Ball. I think that's going to be a little bit of a tussle
Yeah, that might be a tie.
because I don't think you're going to like what I have to say about Spider-Man. FX with the knack too.
Sadly, neither me or Flip have played the masterpiece of Knack, but we've heard amazing things. Like I said
I've
last
heard
week,
it's 10 out of 10.
yeah. You know, last week I wanted to. We were gonna do the stream, and then I asked Flip if I could throw on Fall Guys as a last minute addition, and he said he's not doing the stream anymore. So
I didn't
I learned
say
my
that.
lesson there.
I actually I woke up with a head migraine last week and just could not function at all. But I've caught up on my sleep.
What would you
My
say if I
Manga
said
Academy.
the migraine was from the monsters?
I would disagree with you. It was from the lack of monsters because I was having caffeine withdrawal.
Dude, that is a real thing.
It's real, especially when you drink 6 a day, dude, and then you cut it out. It's a drug.
Dude,
This is my second monster today.
Caffeine addiction is scary.
I did have a fucking venti pumpkin spice macchiato or whatever the fuck from Starbucks. Or wait, can I cuss on your stream?
Yeah, you can cuss.
I don't know because you're very friendly. You're very PG.
Thank you. I
You're
am
very
a
kid friendly.
Guy.
You
Okay.
and who else doesn't cuss?
Boogie doesn't
Boogie.
cuss.
You and Boogie.
Okay, we are back. And with
Okay,
the first round, we're taking Code Vein as a winner.
Boom.
Okay.
Suck that, cowboy.
So for the next round, we have Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man versus DB FighterZ. And before Flip goes, I'm gonna start this one off.
Okay, you go, man. You take it.
Dragon Ball FighterZ is, to me, one of, if not the best anime game out there. And for that is truly a remarkable thing, because we weebs, we have suffered through too many crappy anime games. But
Jump Force.
Yeah, Jump Force, literally the One Piece World Seeker, they all suck. But FighterZ, amazing art. It looked just like the anime. The fighting was fun, and it's just a solid fighting game. But I love anime, but I love comics just as much, and I love superheroes. And my favorite superhero of all time is Spider-Man. And Spider-Man might be the best superhero game except for Arkham City. That's the only one I can argue with being better. But Spider-Man had a super solid Spider-Man story. Exploring Manhattan was just, and Queens was a joy. They had so many Spider-Man villains. They had a great Peter Parker. They had Miles Morales. It was when it comes to video games, I love to have fun. And Spider-Man, it was just some of the most fun I've had playing games over the past generation. So that gets my vote, but I'll pass it to you, Flip.
I think Spider-Man is boring. I think it does absolutely nothing new. It's like the Red Dead of Spider-Man games. It's very pretty to look at, but I mean, if I wanted to play a really good Spider-Man game, I would play the one on PlayStation 2. It's literally just that game that just looks better. Dragon Ball FighterZ, though, is a fighting game. It's an anime fighter game, in which, for those of you who play like hardcore anime fighting games, like Guilty Gear or Under the Night Rebirth, those games are very, very hard. They're not user-friendly at all. And the cool thing about Dragon Ball FighterZ is that it is easy enough that you can you can start off fresh, you can learn the basics, and it's also a team fighting game. So if you have had any experience with like the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise, you can go into this and feel right at home. Everything's very simple and very fluid and very fast. But underneath that is a very deep layer of just complexity, character teams up, mashups. Like there's so many great things that Dragon Ball FighterZ does, which not only is it accessible to new players, but it has its depth. I mean, look at Evo, for instance, which is the biggest fighting game tournament every year. It trumped the year it debuted. It trumped Street Fighter V, which was arguably Street Fighter is their flagship title every year, by like double the people signing up. It was just insane. I think graphically it's gorgeous. I think it might be Arc System Works' best game yet. I have not played any, anything past this though, so you know they have a couple fighters that are out right now that I haven't played yet. But Dragon Ball FighterZ, incredible characters, great. The only downside of Dragon Ball is that there's too many Gokus, way too many Gokus. There's like 40 of them. But yeah, like if you're a fan of Spider-Man, which is arguably the best Marvel character, I will give you that, Sam. Um, he is my favorite. I think he has the best roster of bad guys out of any Marvel character. Um, but yeah, one of them is a mediocre up-res PS2 game, and one of them is one of the best fighters of the generation. So it's no contest for me. Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Well, I agree with everything you said for Dragon Ball FighterZ. I'm not trying to take away from it because it is I love the game. I think it's so good. But you know, you don't have to have a game that is revolutionary to be
Yes, I
really
agree.
great. And that's what Spider-Man is. It doesn't have revolutionary fighting system, a story, but it is so polished. There's so many collectibles. You just enjoy your time with it even though it's not groundbreaking. And so,
Here's the thing: is that my main problem with Spider-Man is the same problem I have with the Batman games, same problem I have with the Assassin's Creed games, and the same thing we're going to talk about with Ghost of Tsushima next. Is that the combat in those games is so insanely mind-numbingly simple. There's absolutely no depth to it. They act like there's depth to it, but really it doesn't add anything to the combat. You still do the same. Oh, you get the Spidey sense. You press triangle to dodge. You beat them up, and you just go through wave after wave after wave. The only thing that I would say Spider-Man does very well is that the set pieces are insane and grand, and I think it looks great. It's not a bad game, and I think all of the chat is going to agree Spider-Man. So I will save my argument powers for later, but so we can go ahead and push Spider-Man up ahead.
okay, okay. So, yeah, we were going to open up the straw poll, but chat's been very vocal on this one.
Very
And
very
like I
vocal.
said, Flip, I'm not trying to take away from DB FighterZ because I think it is so good. And I love that game. And I put in tons and tons of hours. But Spider-Man to me is the best comic book game out there. You're right, the combat is not deep, and anybody who thinks it is, there's a lot of a lot of technology and combos you can do that are fun, but it's not you're not jousting with enemies. At the end of the day you can button mash and win your way through it. So
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I agree, but we can put Spider-Man up ahead.
Okay, we were gonna pull out the straw poll, but Chad was vocal, so we're moving on. Spider-Man.
Chat's very vocal.
Flip fought a valiant battle for DB FighterZ. So now we're moving on to the next one. So now I'm going to pass it to my boy Flip for what
All
what his
right,
vote is.
man. All right, Ghost of Tsushima is probably the best way to swan song a console. It is the last exclusive, the last major exclusive, at least for the PlayStation 4. It is an incredible game graphically. I think it falls under the same thing as Spider-Man, where the combat never truly gets complicated or gets like very in depth. But I
Yeah,
like
I
that there
agree.
is there's no map, so you have to like follow the wind. I think that is an incredible
Yeah.
sense of immersion. But personally, Final Fantasy 14 is the greatest MMO to have ever been made. Period. Full stop. I played a lot of WoW growing up, and now that I'm an adult, and real life, like wife, kid, business, I don't have a lot of time to play MMOs anymore. But every time a new expansion comes out, I make sure to set aside at least a couple months and just devour the content. Not only is it mechanically a great game, it story-wise is one of the best, like just best written Final Fantasy stories ever. Just period. Just the story is phenomenal, and the way it carries into Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, just every expansion's arc is just incredible. There's a lot of Easter eggs as well, and there's a lot of stuff to do. Is that with MMOs, like WoW, you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you kind of get that with Final Fantasy 14, but they just keep adding new systems, new things to do. Like they added an entire, which was like overall wasn't a great add-on to the game, but they added a section which was paying homage to Final Fantasy 11, which was another MMO that I played. And this is coming from someone who bought the original Final Fantasy 14 at launch. And for those of you who don't know, it was a terrible game when it came out. The original 1.0 of Final Fantasy 14 was garbage. They should have done what, I mean, they probably could have done what every company would do, is just scrap the game entirely. But they rebuilt it from the ground up and made it one of, if not the best MMO of all time. I like that you don't have to start a new character for a new class. If you want to start a new class, you just go and get that weapon. You switch weapons, you switch your class. It's so amazing. It's cross-platform between PC and PS4. It's very controller friendly as well. But yeah, Final Fantasy 14 is one of my favorite games of all time, and it's one of the best, if not the best, MMO of all time. And it's incredible. The mechanics of all the raids are fun, and that's something that I think WoW has started to falter on, is that the mechanics for the raids have started to dip in quality. But Final Fantasy 14, every raid has been great. They even just added a Nier raid, and the Nier raid was one of the best pieces of content in the game. Even if I'm not playing it, I'm actively keeping up with it. I'm reading about it. I'm watching gameplay footage of it, and every time something comes out of it, it's either I'm playing it or I'm watching it, and I don't do that with any other game.
Okay.
So,
Wow. The man is passionate about his Final Fantasy. So, my big arguments for Spider-Man are similar with Ghost of Tsushima. So I won't really add much more to that. I think the combat is more fun in Ghost of Tsushima than Spider-Man. I really like the swordplay, even though you can similarly, it doesn't take much depth. You can similarly button mash your way through it. But like you, Flip, I'm a MMO fan. I played WoW, I played Guild Wars 2, and I really genuinely thought the MMO genre was dead. And especially when Final Fantasy 14 first launched, I didn't even give it the time of day because of how bad of a launch it was. But it is really a phenomenal MMO, and yeah, you hit it on the nail on the head. I gotta give it to Final Fantasy as well.
yeah, dude, I'm actually surprised.
Yeah, dude, it is.
That's awesome.
It has really added life to the MMO genre, which I did not think was possible anymore.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yep. Okay, so moving on, we got Tekken 7 and Nier Automata. So I'll start with this one. Tekken 7, I haven't played too much of it, but I try to keep my knowledge up with the fighting game scene, and I know Tekken 7 is seriously dominating it. It is without a doubt known as one of the best fighting games out right now, and it has such a strong fan base. But Nier Automata is one of it's one of those games that when I think how gaming isn't just if you can have like a fun action time, but it can truly be art and can like touch you in your soul. That's what I get from Nier Automata. The music is some of the best in gaming. I listen to it like weekly. It is amazing music. I love the storyline. I love the concept of humans, there barely being any humans alive because of this robot invasion, and they created these robot cyborgs to go and save Earth. And I love 2B. Just love the combat. I think it is such a good game. It's definitely, to me, one of the best games on the last generation.
I agree, dude. This is the hardest one I think for me, is because these are two of the best games on the console. Tekken 7
totally agree.
is my favorite fighting game of all time. Just mechanically, design wise, the character roster. They added characters from other games, like you get Noctis from Final Fantasy 15. You're getting King of the Fighters characters. You're getting Akuma from Street Fighter. You're
The
getting
bear.
all these great. The bear. You're getting the bear is a great character as well. You're getting all these great characters. Each character plays differently, which is something I think a lot of fighters struggle to do. Is that when you play Street Fighter,
Yep, totally agree.
I could never get into Street Fighter ever. I mean, I've always bought in everyone. I've always played it. I've always enjoyed them. But Tekken 7 is just as perfect as a game could possibly be when it comes to a fighting game. But Nier, on the other hand, Nier made me cry. Nier, like, literally touched my soul. The same way that Neon Genesis did. I'm not like exaggerating at all.
No,
like,
not at all.
Nier,
those of you who played it, you know.
Nier, yeah, like, and Nier made me think. Like, I've never, like, I love playing games. Obviously, we're doing this, but I've never been at work and just thinking about a game all day.
Yes.
Just can't wait to go. And then once I beat it, the first time, I just sat down and I cried and I just kind of like pondered life for a little bit. And I'm not even joking at all either. Like, this Nier is the original Nier is a great game too, and I'm glad it's getting remastered. But it was overlooked, and this game, rightfully so, just got all the praise. And it might be. It's just, I don't know, dude. It's such a good game. It sounds so pretentious to say that this game is, people act like The Last of Us is so impactful. Nier is actually one of the things that is super impactful for me.
Yeah. Aside from The Last of Us tab, I'm with you.
As much as I love Tekken 7, I think it's the best fighting game of all time. I have to give it to Nier.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is a really tough one because even though I'm not the biggest fighting fan, it's so clear how good of a game Tekken 7 is, even from the small time I've played it. But Nier is.
And also,
go for it.
Oh, sorry, Sam. But I was just gonna say, if you want more Nier content, Sam, at least watch the raid for Final Fantasy 14, because it's really, really good. Like, and it's actually canon to the Nier story.
Yeah, and I never played the original, and I'm so excited about that remaster. So excited to play it. But okay, that one was a painful one, but I think we're going with Nier. And I see in the chat we got some Tekken 7 love, and
which rightfully so, dude.
So.
Tekken is great game. But I didn't cry when Jin got shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so we're moving down. We got Uncharted 4 and Infamous Second Son. To me, Infamous Second Son, it's all right. It's a fun Infamous game, but I think Uncharted 4 is a fun game, but for Naughty Dog, I think it's one of their safer games, and so to me, I'm giving this to Uncharted 4, but it's these are two games I'm not too passionate about.
Honestly, I could give a shit less because it's both of them are diarrhea. So it's up to you, Sam. You pick. You get this round.
I'll give it to Uncharted because I personally think Uncharted's a better game, and I there is some really high moments I'll say in the game. Okay.
Yeah. So when Nathan Drake murders a bunch of people.
Oh, sorry. Would you want to add something to that?
I was just gonna say very high moments, like when Nathan Drake murders a bunch of people over and over and over and over and over. But it's sad when it's sad when the best thing in Naughty Dog's games are its multiplayer components.
Gosh, oh gosh. oh gosh. Okay. So now we got Resogun and Sekiro. So
oh man, dude.
I know this is an easy Resogun vote, so we can move on.
Yeah, easy. Sekiro, 100%.
Yeah. Resogun was 100%. So fun, and when the PS4 came out, it was like one of the few games that was out there, so I loved it. And it's a game I usually wouldn't play, but since there's nothing on the PS4, I played it and I really enjoyed it. But come on.
Yeah, I agree. But Sekiro is a masterpiece. Yeah. It is a fucking masterpiece of a game. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that game. Yeah. If you're too much of a wimp to beat it, then go perform seppuku or something.
Yeah. Oh wow, a Sekiro reference. Wow, Sam. Okay, very meta of you, Flip. So now,
thank you.
So now we actually, funny how that worked out. We have two PlayStation VR titles. We got Astrobot rescue mission and Beat Saber. So I played both of these. Actually, I played both of these with my wife. And Astrobot's a fun little cute game, but I love rhythm games and haven't played one in a long time since Dance Dance Revolution. So to me, I thought Beat Saber was a blast. I got to give it to Beat Saber.
I have not played either of them because I don't have PSVR. But there's at least once a week where I show my wife a clip from that game, and she just thinks Beat Saber rocks. Yeah. And every time I show her, she's like, "Let's get a PSVR," and I'm like, "Hell yeah!" And then we never do. So, Beat Saber, hell yeah.
Nice. It seems like we're in pretty big agreements with the chat, except for
Tekken.
Yeah, except for Tekken. That was the only one. Okay, so now, before we move on with this, Flip, are we past the point of time where it's the cool thing to hate on The Last of Us 2, or can we all acknowledge it's
no? It's a fucking terrible game, dude. It's an absolute dog shit pile of a game. It's Naughty Dog has not made a good game since Jak and Daxter 3. They are a terrible studio. Like, seriously, and I mean this wholeheartedly. The best thing about the original Last of Us is the multiplayer component, dude. Last of Us it's a Christopher Nolan movie. And if you guys are friends with me on Facebook, Naughty Dog games are for people who think they're intelligent and that they have good discourse. That's what they are. And it's just, if you think that they are the highest form of art in games, then I'm sorry that you are just a shitty person. Last Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is a fucking terrible game as well.
What? Oh my!
It gets full of bugs. If the same problem with Fallout 4, if I cannot play the game and like just crash and I can't continue, the game gets an F. So by default, Last of Us 2 is gonna beat it. But when it comes up to Beat Saber is a higher piece of art than The Last of Us 2. So
oh my. Well, that's next round. So you better slow down. I think these are both two amazing games that we're talking about right now. People who say, "Oh, The Last of Us 2 is the most intellectual art." No, I'm not a part of that party, but they do tell stories well. Not the best, but they tell them well. The graphics and the way that the cinematic feel they have to their games is something that deserves praise, I will say. Even if you don't like their stories, the games really feel like they're pushing the boundaries of gaming from a not necessarily the story they're telling, but the way they tell a story, the cinematic feel and the graphics. And even the acting, the voice acting, it's like so good. Even if the story is bad.
But then you go into the gameplay, and the gameplay is terrible.
The gameplay is
like
bad.
It's like, wow, this is it's like Red Dead. They're beautiful games. Like, there's no arguing that Neil Druckmann doesn't know how to direct a scene. He is a great game director. The voice actors, the motion captures are incredible. But when you get into playing the game, it's just boring. I don't like that game at all. I don't like what they did to what's his tits, Joel.
Okay.
Anyways, let's just give it to The Last of Us. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is all right.
It's I still thought Fallen Order was a fun game, but I personally would give it to The Last of Us as well.
I can't believe we didn't get Titanfall 3 for that piece of shit. So.
Oh, is that really? Did that come at the?
That and Apex. Fucking Jesus, dude.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it makes me angry.
Yeah. Okay.
So, this is no contest. This one.
Absolutely no contest. This is a big.
No contest, dude.
Yeah, this is a big first seed for me. God of War.
God of War.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the best games of the generation, even if it is a little mediocre.
Yeah. Oh, whoa.
We'll get there. We'll cross that bridge. There.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge.
Fallout 4 and Horizon Zero Dawn.
God.
You want to take it, or do you want me to start with it?
I'll go. Bethesda, same with Naughty Dog, are terrible. You you can't keep giving praise to a company that keeps using a broken engine. It's absolute dog shit. If any other company did that, they would be just bashed into the ground. Oh, they added building. Oh, it's so cool. Um, Boring characters, boring world, boring mechanics, boring game. Horizon at least looks like a current gen video game. It actually looks good. Um, and the story in Horizon is decent. But when you look at it through when you're playing the game, you're looking at it through rose tinted glasses. When it came out, it was like,
Yep.
oh my god, dinosaur robots, incredible. I love it. But after you take those shades off, it's literally just an Assassin's Creed clone. It's like any other open world game. Um, you know, it's beautiful to look at, but it's not there. So like, there's not that much there. So either way, it's just I think Horizon is an objectively better game. I think Fallout 4 is a broken piece of shit. They need to. I'm not buying another Bethesda game developed by Bethesda until they fix that fucking engine,
Elder
which
Scrolls
sounds like
6?
never. Skyrim is fucking awful.
Oh my.
Morrowind and Oblivion are two of the greatest RPGs of all time. I think Fallout 3 and New Vegas are great as well, but I have had the same bug every single Bethesda game where I get 20 hours in and my save file erases. My time as an adult, as a dad, as a business owner, as a husband
That's
is
triggering.
so valuable that when I play 20 hours of something and it just disappears, fuck you in your game, fuck you in the company.
It's okay. This was actually kind of split on chat. So I didn't hate either of these games. Like flipped it. I thought they were both fun. To me, I loved the decisions you had to make in Fallout 4. I remember being very conflicted at the times when I had to make them that affected the story a lot. But I do agree with your gripes, Flip. The engine is so bad. I cannot believe they tried to use it again for Fallout 76. Like they need
Oh, don't even give me.
like
Is that on this list?
oh
Fallout 76?
oh absolutely not. I did play it, but it's
Okay, good.
not on this list. No.
Good.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, but I'll give it to Horizon Zero Dawn as well. Even though I didn't think it was
Okay.
that great, I thought it was rose tinted glasses, similar critique. Okay, next on we got Monster Hunter World and Nioh 2. So
Oh man.
I'll start with this one. Both I think both are really solid games, and I think I could see this one going either way. I had a ton of fun with Monster Hunter World when it first came out. I think it is probably the best Monster Hunter game out. There might be some, but I know people really like 4 Ultimate. I know people really like the OG PSP one, and they're all good games. I really enjoyed Monster Hunter World. I stuck a ton of time into it, and I thought Nioh 2 was a blast as well. Flip knows that I just suck at these Souls type games, but I try and I give them a try every time, and I really did enjoy Nioh 2. So I'm defaulting to you, brother. This is your choice.
This is tough for me, man, because Monster Hunter games are I've played every single one. Some of my favorite games of all time, and Souls-like games are it's like my favorite genre. It's my bread and butter. So Monster
Yep.
Hunter World, I think, it became one of the biggest games, and it's the best-selling game in the franchise because it's the most accessible
Yep.
to newcomers, which is
Which
great because
is
that game.
that is something to keep in mind. That's a good achievement.
But Nioh 2 just builds upon what the original did. And the original, you got to remember, the original came out when there was a bunch of shitty Souls-like clones. Nioh 2 is just that game, but refined. And when that game
Yep.
is near perfection, Nioh 2 is even better. It's even closer to perfection. It is
Yep.
Nioh as a franchise now. Like, we have the Surge. We have a couple other like franchises that have started from the Souls-like genre. Nioh is the only one that I will blindly go into every piece of DLC, no matter what. I'm gonna have to give it to Nioh 2. And the chat looks like Nioh
Yeah.
2
Yeah.
as
It looks like
well.
we have a big Nioh 2. Yeah, and I have to agree with you, Flip. I felt like the first game, people thought it was good, but it's still they wouldn't compare it in quality to the Souls games. But I feel like Nioh 2 really stands on its own 2 feet against those games.
Yeah. So give it to Nioh
Yep,
too.
we're in agreement on that one. And this one is insulting that these two are even up against each other.
Ah, well, hang on.
Okay. I'll get.
Final Fantasy 15 is a good game. A lot of people um, give it shit, rightfully so. It wasn't finished. They needed to. The Royal Edition should have been the original launch edition.
Okay.
But I was absolutely fascinated by the lore. I love the character moments. When you have four characters constantly around each other, it should get stale. But I love the little interactions with each other. The fact that there were so many. I love the world building. I love the graphically. I think it looks great as well. I love the monster designs. I love the summons. Uh, but Bloodborne is literally the greatest game to have ever been conceived ever. It is the best PS4 exclusive. I literally bought a PS4 because of Bloodborne, and it is one of the greatest gaming moments. They're like, if I made like a top 20 gaming moments of the PS4, Bloodborne would take up at least 75% of it. It is
Yeah, it's a great game.
and it's the greatest piece of DLC ever as well. The battle in the clock tower is one of the most just adrenaline inducing fights I've ever experienced in my entire life. Um, every year
Yep.
during the Bloodborne, like the Bloodborne subreddit community week, when they try to get together and go back to, I think it's called like Return to Yarnum or something. Um, I play that every year since it's come out, and I played through the game. I played through the game at least 3 times now, um, and that may not seem like a lot, but I take my time with these games. I actually read the item descriptions, the world
Oh
building,
wow.
and the
Okay.
lore, and then the twist. There's a twist towards the end of the game, and it is an incredible twist.
Yep. Yeah. I unlike you, I did not think Final Fantasy 15 was a good game. I came into Final Fantasy 15 so hyped. I was up here, and as soon as that story starts, they start telling that story. As soon as the characters start talking, my hype slowly just decreased to the point where I just was doing a fishing simulator. Um,
Yeah,
but
the fishing was fun though.
yeah, the fishing was pretty fun. To me, this is an easy Bloodborne.
Yep,
Um,
I
so
agree.
okay, so we're in agreement on that. Now moving down, we're coming towards the end of the first round. We have The Witcher 3 versus Trials of the Cold Steel 3. And I played about an hour, 2 hours of Trials of the Cold Steel 3. So take my opinion with a grain of salt, chat. But I'm really at this point in my gamer life where if I'm playing a JRPG, if it has cringy dialogue and the dialogue is not entertaining, because you're with these characters so long that if they're a boring dialogue and it's cringy, I can't do it anymore. That's why you're gonna see me really ranting about Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royale. I think they are masterpieces, but Witcher 3 might be my favorite game of this generation. The storytelling, I've never had a game that has led me to read 7 books after it. I've never had a game that the side quests, I genuinely am seeking out side quests because they are, if not as good, if not better than the main story. The graphics, nothing needs to be said about the graphics. The one gripe that people have against Witcher 3, and I agree with, is the combat. I do think it's the weakest portion of the game, but I still really enjoyed the combat, the lore, the story, the characters. Geralt is just one of my favorite main characters. Cannot say enough about Witcher 3.
So I'm a big Nihon Falcom fan. They've done the Trails of Cold Steel games. They've done um, Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus. They do the Yeast games. I think they're a great indie developer. They're a very small team. So the fact that these
Yep.
games are even translated over here is just a stroke of luck. I have played all the Trails of Cold Steel. I think they are incredible.
Yeah,
I think they
I know
are
you're a huge fan of
very.
them.
I think they're very well written, Sam. I think once you got to get past. Plus, you're jumping right into 3, right? Did you say you played 3?
Yeah, I did the same attempt with 1, and I gave it a little bit more with 1, but I quit because again the dialogue and I also thought the combat in 1 was a little weak too. But
But wait, what?
I only got 3 hours in, and I know with JRPGs, like the combat really fleshes out after the first 10 hours or so.
With all that said, I rarely buy games more than once and play them more than once, and I have The Witcher 3 on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch, and it's a fucking masterpiece. But I will say the people who don't like Witcher 3's combat and you like Spider-Man's combat, you need to take a hard look in the mirror and really ask yourself some deep personal questions.
Yeah, there's at least
The Witcher 3 all the way.
Yeah, there's more depth, I would say, to the Witcher 3 combat. You at least got the poisons and you're prepping for your battles. So
and the writing is so good.
Oh my
so
gosh.
Good.
Top tier. CD Projekt Red doesn't miss. Okay. So Flip, he said his piece about, Trials Cold Steel 3. He loves the game, so that we should take note of that, but we're giving this to Witcher 3. Oh, looks like we might have lost Flip. Filippo. Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I don't know what just happened.
Whoa.
But whatever. Am I sideways?
Yeah. Can you try and turn it? You're sideways.
Oh my god, am I actually sideways? Let's see if this works now.
Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Right,
I don't know what happened.
We back. Okay.
My phone turned off. Is what happened. So next up we got what? Outer Worlds and Resident Evil 2?
Yeah. This is easy for me. I'll let you say your piece.
Easy. Resident Evil 2?
Yeah. Easy.
That's my vote.
Outer Worlds is fun. I love the setting. I liked the characters. Combat very weak, but it's typically a game that I think is good, but nothing great. I thought Resident Evil 2 was just a badass game. Nothing more to add that. You wanna or I mean nothing for me to add. But
that's it for me too. I mean I played a little bit Outer Worlds and was just bored. Yeah. But Resident Evil 2 was great.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone saw our chat.
That's what I was worried about.
Oh man, dude.
Okay.
Honestly, I think we can go kind of quick for the last two.
Yeah. Well, the next one is hard for me, but I do know what I'm choosing.
I just want to say Doom 2016, amazing.
Yep.
Doom Eternal is a good game, but it restricts you on certain stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't feel as free flowing. And when the original one was so free flowing, like you feel like you are in control, and they put those restrictions on like certain deaths and certain kills to get certain things, it kind of takes away from the experience. Final Fantasy VII Remake, I literally waited a decade for, like my whole life, and it lived up to it. Even if that's the only part we get, it lived up to it.
I would be heartbroken if it's the only part we get. But I'm with you.
I would too.
I never played the original Doom. Eternal was my first one, and I loved it. But man, Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's in my top 5 this year for sure. I loved it. Thought it was so good.
Awesome.
Okay.
And then do we even need to talk about the last one, Sam?
We're not even gonna blink an eye.
It's fine. It's Persona 5, dude. Like Remnant is a good game. It's a small indie game, but Persona 5 Royal added an additional 70 hours to an already like. Mechanically, it is the best turn-based JRPG ever.
I'm so with you on that.
Ever. Like, there's no argument. Like, just the systems in place are so great. The characters, while it's my second group of favorite characters in a Persona game, I like 4's batch of characters more.
Really? Okay, that's a fun
I do a lot
for some other time.
But Persona 5 just, it's fucking perfect, dude.
I'll definitely have more to say about Persona 5 Royale when we get to these tighter later rounds, because I have a feeling we're gonna send it further. But okay, we are moving on, guys. We're in the second round, and we've given a good explanation for a lot of these, so I'm sure these rounds will go a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm.
Code Vein versus Spider-Man. I think we're gonna disagree on this one. Do we need to open up the straw poll for this one?
I will give you Spider-Man.
And I'll remember you.
I think Code Vein is great, but if I have to actually like objectively look at these games and not like try to bash my point, Spider-Man is an objectively better game.
Yes, I'll take that. Okay, This one is so freaking tough.
It's so tough, dude, because if I feel the same way about Nier as I do Neon Genesis Evangelion, because it has like a lot of the same themes. I think Nier is one of the best games of all time. I think Final Fantasy 14 is. I don't know. This is tough because
here's what I'll say, Flip. I am going to trust you on this one because I have put about 40 hours into Final Fantasy 14, and I know you've put so many more. And I think both are phenomenal games. So I trust you in your decision on this one.
I'm gonna say Nier.
Dang,
I'm gonna say Nier. Now, Final Fantasy.
Dang.
It's very rare for me to get to the max level on an MMO. It's very rare for me because of time constraints. But the fact that I have mastered 4 different classes says a lot about the quality of the game. So do not let that take away from Final Fantasy 14. But Nier Automata, as a work of art, as a game, is way better.
Okay, wow, I'm shocked by that. Okay, next one. Before we vote, I need to pour one out for Uncharted 4.
Pour it out.
Flip hates this game. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why it's a good game and why if you like action games, you should give it a try. When I go to see a Mission Impossible movie, I know the story's not going to blow my mind. You know, I know there's nothing going to be groundbreaking in it. I know it's tight, fun action scenes. There's going to be some high moments and some lows. There's nothing that's going to change and speak to your soul, and you're not really going to think about it that much 2 years after. But you still enjoy the ride, and that's what I'd say for Uncharted 4. I haven't really thought about it much in a long time, but while I was playing it, I did enjoy it, and I kind of saw it as like a roller coaster. You have enjoy it and then you forget about it. But Sekiro, I gotta give it to that. Gotta give it to Sekiro.
The only thing I can say about Uncharted 4 is that it's a very beautiful polished turd.
Yep.
Sekiro.
Okay, never mind. Nope.
Sekiro has the best combat, the most visceral combat I have ever experienced in a game. The sword clashes, the little cues. Like that's the thing is that like when you're playing like Spider-Man and you get like the spider sense, you have a pretty large window to react to that. And Sekiro, there's different cues. You have a cue to jump, you have a cue to block. Then there's the whole the whole system of like you can't block too many hits because then you'll get tired and then they can do a powerful attack on you. The lore, and this is the thing, is that Miyazaki, who's the director of Dark Souls 1, 3, Bloodborne, and Sekiro, people were afraid going in because they said, one, this is going to be a more focused linear narrative, which was kind of scary at first because these Souls-like games are built upon the world building and the item descriptions and the little NPCs you find along the way. But he showed here that he is able to tell a great story, a very linear story that is cohesive and hits in all the right emotional levels. And I don't know if you know this, but there's like 5 different end bosses depending on what you choose towards the end of the game, and they all play vastly different.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So, and not to flex on you, but I did beat the guy you're supposed to die to on the first try at the very beginning.
Really?
Which, by the way,
guy?
Yeah, but which by the way, if you do that, someone just throws a throwing star off screen and it just hits you. You're supposed to die there. But yeah, Sekiro is a masterpiece, so I'm glad that it's up there.
That's so funny you say that. In Sekiro, like when the game actually starts, the first like boss you fight, I swore that it was at one of those missions that you're forced to die, and it wasn't. It was just so damn hard. I kept dying.
It is, dude. It is the toughest game I've ever played.
The difficulty is alarming if you're not prepared.
It's so like even as like a veteran of these games, it took me probably 20 hours before it clicked, and when it clicked, I've never felt more like a badass in my entire life playing a game.
Yeah, but that is something that the Souls games are truly masterclass and is really giving you the sense of pride and accomplishment when you fight and you win battles. It's truly like you stand up, you like flex your chest, you're like, "What's up, bitch?" That's how I feel when I beat bosses in that game.
Also, Sekiro has a twist similar to Bloodborne. Not like the same tone, but there is something that you can do. There's a whole entire zone that you can just miss. Did you go to the other world?
Yeah, I have not beat a Souls game to this day.
Okay, so in Sekiro, there's something that you can completely pass by, but it's an entire zone with its own bosses, with its own story, and it is the hardest fucking thing in any Souls game is this one zone. So, and there's no difficulty change. Also, the actual fighting stances, which is what I think Ghost of Tsushima lacks, is that they actually play very differently. Overall, I give it to Sekiro.
Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima fighting stances. You visually look different, but they play the same.
Yep.
Okay, so for this one, I'm giving it to Last of Us, but I enjoyed Beat Saber a lot.
Beat Saber has a better story.
My gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's true though, dude. The soundtrack in Beat Saber is way better too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, Last of Us, whatever.
Okay. I think the next round is where we butt heads.
No, I think this round is fairly easy for both of us, dude.
Okay.
I think God of War is the better game.
Yep, totally agree. I think God of War is a masterpiece. We can move on. This next one,
Bloodborne.
Dude, why would you compare the Jedi Master with the Padawan?
Exactly. Bloodborne, 100% over Nioh 2.
100%. And I gave Sekiro and Bloodborne both my full heart and tried as hard as I could, but Bloodborne is, when we'll talk about this more, but gosh, the atmosphere that game builds is something that is I've never experienced in gaming.
Did you get, like, do you know the twist in that game?
Like at the end where like you go to the I've seen the ending, the multiple endings for like the guy in the wheelchair. He either you become
No. Like the game becomes like an HP Lovecraft game. You start fighting creatures from another world. Like it's
interesting.
Like it's not just like all of a sudden all the hints were there in the item descriptions and in like the NPCs dialogue. So when it happened, and in your brain, if you're paying attention, you're piecing together all this information. You're like, holy shit. And it's one of the best, oh my fucking God moments in any game.
Dude, when you talk to people that have their doors locked in and they're like, please send help. It just builds such an atmosphere. It's like, man, I would be horrified if I was this woman in this building.
Yeah, I would. I'd be shitting my pants.
Yeah, dude. No kidding. Okay. So next up, this one is a little bit tougher for me, but I am so just in love with Witcher 3. The DLCs, everything to me is just. But I thought Resident Evil was so fun. It's a quick game too, so I know a lot of people are sick of these open world 60, 100-hour games. It's a quick one that is from the entire time is a lot of fun.
Not to take away from Capcom because they've had like a resurgence since Street Fighter V.
Yep.
But Witcher 3 is, I think, it's the last major open world game where I wasn't absolutely annoyed, and that's because the writing was so damn good. Like the whole Baron side quest is like better.
Oh,
that side quest is written
so
better
good.
than any Naughty Dog game, and that is just a side quest. So
I agree with that.
Damn. Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've read all the Witcher books because
me too, dude.
The story is that good.
Me too.
Okay, this one, I have an easy vote, but this is hard for me.
This one's hard, dude. This one's hard.
Let me hear.
I think Final Fantasy VII Remake, the characters are good because we're already in love with these characters. We already know who they are. Persona 5, you didn't know those characters, and by the end, I felt like in the same way with Persona 4 is that I felt like when that game was over, I lost my friends. Like I felt like my friends weren't there anymore. I love the group of characters. it's just the writing in Persona 5 is just so damn good. And I know there's going to be some
So
people
good.
in the chat. There's going to be some absolute cucks in the chat who are going to be upset that they removed some homophobic jokes and they're going to cry censorship.
Oh
But
my.
but who cares, dude? The writing's still good.
So good.
Mechanically, I think it's a way better game than Final Fantasy VII Remake. And
Yep.
that's not to take away. Looking at Remake and playing the demo, I thought, oh, match. It's a little bit deeper than that. But Persona 5, mechanically, story wise, character wise, is the better game in my opinion.
Yeah. Pretty much all the points you made. I thought Final Fantasy VII Remake was really fun. I loved the new combat system. I thought it was entertaining. I hated how bullet spongy the enemies were towards the end. That really frustrated me about the combat. And some of the dialogue is cringy, which I think holds it back. But the characters I do like. Man, like Cloud, you come to love him at the end. He's so annoying in the beginning. And then he's just so lovable at the end. Tifa, she just melts your heart. Like, such a good game. Yeah, but exactly what you were hitting on Persona 5. Like, when I tell you, I lost sleep over who I chose as my girlfriend. I'm not lying,
dude. Now, did you pick the one? Because I picked the one that's most like my wife.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I think I did too as well. Actually, you know what?
Which is, wait, who'd you pick? On the count of three. 1,
On.
2, 3. What?
Yeah. Dude,
what?
She's like, are you kidding me? She's such a great character.
I gotta say, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Jessie is the best girl. I fell in love with Jessie when you do her like quest. You go to her parents' house and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I fell in love with her. I thought she was so charming.
Yep. Totally agree.
Especially for a character back when I was a kid, I couldn't tell if that was a boy or a girl. So, and now we know it's a very beautiful woman.
Aerith is an easy third place for the girls for me.
Dude, Aerith is too much like Aerith is like literally my wife. My wife is a very like kind soul, very loving, pure. You know, my wife's a good person.
Yeah.
Down to very sheltered too. She doesn't know she didn't know what any of this stuff was. So
okay, yeah. But okay, it sounds like we're in agreement. Wait.
Yes.
First of all, who'd you choose for your girlfriend?
Makoto.
Yeah, that was the one I lost sleep over. That was the one I was really like, man, did I choose right? Like Makoto, she's such a beast. But the thing is,
she's a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't get over how much I hated her at the beginning, though.
Yeah, she is a complete bitch at the first.
Mm-hmm. And she looks the coolest in the metaverse. Anyways, okay.
Yes, dude. Yes.
Okay, so dang, all right, we're getting close to the end now. Looks like we have 2 more rounds until the final round. This one, I'm not gonna fight you with. I think we're both in agreement. I think I love Spider-Man, and I've already said my points why I love it. But I think Nier Automata is a masterpiece. When Spider-Man,
I agree with you, man. I agree. I think Spider-Man is like like a toilet, and then Nier Automata is like the Eiffel Tower. So it's very two different things that are both man-made.
Even when Flip gives it, check this out, chat. Even when Flip gives it to me, he's like, "Here, take this." And when I turn, he gives me a stab in the back. He's like, "You get it."
Oh man!
He's giving me Spider-Man. What's up, bitch? He stabs me in the back.
Now this one, we're gonna have a tuffle over, dude.
Here's what I'll say. Personally, I enjoyed The Last of Us 2 more. But objectively, I can say that I think Sekiro is a better game. Because there's obvious flaws in The Last of Us 2. Despite the flaws, I still loved it. But Sekiro is almost, you could argue it's flawless. And I would not fight you on that.
I think Sekiro is the better game, obviously. I'm not a Last of Us guy, not a Naughty Dog guy because I have taste, but Sekiro is just... I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, guys. Everything I say to Sam, by the way, for people in chat, which is like the regular homies, you know.
It's no one... Yeah, there's no bad blood going on here. There's no
bad blood. I love Sam so much. Yeah. And everyone in the chat's also agreeing, dude. We have 3 Sekiros.
Yeah, we have a lot of Sekiro here, so we're going with Sekiro. I'm surprised we haven't had to use the straw poll. It seems like we've been very diplomatic, I will say.
Yes, we have. We've actually been very... we haven't butt heads yet.
Okay.
I'm actually surprised, dude. I'm surprised because I thought I was gonna have to fucking murder you
I
for the
think
last. I thought the Last of Us 2 was going to get to the
no.
final round, and I was going to shit my pants.
There's a way that it could have, but I what like it would have had to be
Oh
now
man, this next
this.
one.
All right, chat. We're gonna need a
Oh,
straw poll here. We're gonna need a
all
straw
right. No,
poll.
hang on. Let me get some points across, okay?
Get your points out.
I think what they were trying to do with God of War is great. I did not think the whole one camera the entire time worked. I think it broke immersion when you
Oh
died.
my god.
I think it broke immersion. It did not feel right. Now, emotionally, God of War means a lot to me because I played this game entirely while holding my daughter. Entirely.
Dude,
I think
the memory.
it's a great memory, but Bloodborne is literally the greatest game on this platform. The greatest game. It is, and I will fight tooth and nail. It is mechanically a better game than God of War. Story wise, it is a better game than God of War. Atmosphere, art direction, everything. It's just a better game. I think God of War did some cool things, but there are times where you're backtracking, where it feels like a chore, and never once did Bloodborne feel like a chore to me. So that's what I gotta say.
So the one camera angle I thought was revolutionary for gaming, and I thought it worked so well. The continuous
It
camera is something we've never seen in gaming. Like, and I here's what. Okay, so to go off of that, God of War 3 was a good game, but I thought there was nothing more left for this series. This God of War totally turned it from a series that was fairly one dimensional, button smashing, rage induced man versus the gods, to something like so deep. You got the emotional aspect of your son, and then like the new Norse gods were just so awesome. I loved the combat. To me, God of War is the pinnacle, the peak of gaming.
For me, I think the opening, like, here's the problem with God of War. When you think God of War, what it is, and it's okay to go back and try to restart something and try to have something new, but God of War is always known for these epic, massive set pieces. Um, but there's nothing epic, even close, even a third epic as the opening in God of War 3 when you're climbing Olympus on
So
the
epic.
back of the Titans.
So epic.
Is
And I agree with you there.
so epic. There's nothing like that in this game, and this game is still stuck doing the same type of puzzles.
Dude, when that
It's
giant
the
snake pops
same.
out, oh,
It's the snake is fine, but then it doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like the snake
yeah.
pops out, you're like, oh my god, and then it's just like he's an ally. Oh, okay, like I thought I was gonna have an epic battle, but no, uh, uh, it's just it's too easy. You're stuck doing the exact same puzzles that you're doing in every other God of War. And I felt like the lack of villains, like the lack of gods in this game was really such a downer, dude. Like they kept teasing bigger and bigger things. And then when it got to the end, I was like, are you fucking serious?
Dude, they gotta
Like
hold
that's
their guns,
it?
man. It's a trilogy. They're gonna make a
I
trilogy.
don't but if the trilogy is going to be this like this the entire way through, it's going to be a boring trilogy. I think one game of this is fine. It's a great game. I will not deny it. I think it's a gorgeous game. Um, but it's just the same puzzles, not what I wanted from a God of War game. And like I said, it's okay to try to revitalize a series, and I like the kind of more serious tone that they're going for. But I think the writing borderlines cringy because they're trying a little too hard to make Kratos uh,
Okay,
something
okay.
that he's not.
Where
Kratos, if you guys don't know, Kratos murdered his wife and child in one of the other games. Like, he is a piece of shit. You should not feel sympathetic towards this character. And you eventually do. And I think they literally lastified us, the God of War franchise. They took it in a route that
uh,
that I
there's
don't think they should
way.
have. And I think the axe is sick, dude. I think mechanics wise, dude, when you're fighting and you're throwing that axe and then you're punching and then you call that axe back, that feels so fucking good. That
Yeah,
feels
the combat
so
feels so
sick.
fun.
But the combat in Bloodborne, the fast-paced, almost arcadey-like nature of it, and then every single weapon plays entirely different. Like there's like what 20 weapons in that game, and every single one feels different. And then on top of it, you have the multiplayer for Bloodborne. So when you're playing a game and you see like Bloodborne's multiplayer is my favorite for any Dark Souls game. And the weapons in Bloodborne get so creative too because they're all trick weapons. You know, you have a saw blade, it extends, it gets bigger. Some of them are more creative than others, like the hammer. You have a sword, and then you put the sword in the back, and then you have this big ass hammer. Um, just I think on a scale of epicness, I think Bloodborne is the way better game. Like hands down, the
All
like just
right, all right.
leagues above it.
Okay. You know what? I'll give this to you.
Shit.
I'll give it to you. You made some good points. I don't think you had to tear down God of War because I do think it is one of the best games that of the past 8-10 years. But you made. I think we're talking about two giants right now, and I think I'll give the slight edge to Bloodborne.
Are you wait? Did you finish Bloodborne though?
I did not know.
Well, then I think your edge should be to God of War.
I mean, I'm telling you, I enjoy God of War more, but I know, just because a game isn't personally for me, doesn't mean that I can't say, like with an objective
Well,
opinion, that it is amazing.
I'll tell you what. Because the chat is saying God of War, it's gonna be God of War.
Okay.
I think I got my point across, but
You did.
it seems like everyone in the chat is screaming God of War. So it looks like Epic says poll. So
Okay.
I mean we have like 4 people that are being vocal. We have like 11, 12 people watching. So let's go ahead and get a straw poll going and see who.
Yeah, we'll get a poll. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll move on and we'll let the poll decide.
Nindo says God of War is a great story, but what is the story of Bloodborne about? It's too complicated to talk about on a live stream for 5 minutes.
The thing about the Souls games is it's not in your face. Hey, I'm gonna narrate and tell you the story. But when you put the time and effort into learning what the story is about, because it's a real the goal is to be like a real world with not a narrator telling you what's happening, but there's been a story that's already happening in the world. It really pays off.
Duty Flash's Bloodborne is iconic, and also if you look at it, people memed the fuck out of God of War. Nobody memed Bloodborne. Nobody memed Bloodborne.
Because boy is so iconic.
Boy.
Okay, moving on.
Boy. We got a straw poll.
Yeah. Do you all see the link in chat?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
I clicked it.
Okay, so
It's not loading yet. Hang on. Which one? Because you posted it twice. There we go.
Yeah, it's the same
there
one.
We go.
Same one. Okay. I voted. Put my vote in there. So,
okay.
Moving on. This, for me, could have been the finals. Right here.
This right here?
This last round right here. Okay, actually, both could have been the finals. These 4 could have been the final for me. And I would have been okay with that. But Witcher 3, fantastic game. Some of the best storytelling I've ever played in gaming. Best characters. And the combat is solid. Excuse me, I had a burp. I wasn't crying. Persona 5 Royale is I can't believe the impact this game has had on me. I've become a true fan. I've become a true stan of a game series. Because of this game, I played 2 other 100-hour games. Because of this game,
4 and 3?
I've played a lot of 4, and I've actually just been getting into 3. I'm like 10, 15 hours, and I think I might like 3 more than 4. I like the story a lot.
3's a lot darker. 3's
Yes,
a lot darker.
I will agree. But also, side note, all the Shin Megami Tensei games, aside from the Persona franchise, are very dark. It seems like Persona is the more mainstream, lighter one.
Yes, anyways. That's why they even dropped that. I mean, I'm a big Tensei fan. I've played every Shin Megami Tensei game. Okay. I have every game in the franchise, even ones that are only available in Japanese because I just love the franchise. Yeah. They dropped that title after Persona 4, I think. So it's yeah.
Yeah. So, but Persona 5 Royale, all the dialogue is amazing. It's one half a life simulator, one half a dungeon crawler. and there's
Yep.
not a weak part of either one. And when you get too tired of playing too much of the dungeon crawler, you get your fill of the life simulator. The characters, each one you want to fully max out your confidant level with because they're so likable and there's such a good payoff for each one. And then the combat is so rewarding. The game has a style that I've never seen in gaming before, and it man, it really adds to the overall experience. And then to top it off, the music, some of the best I've ever had in gaming. So I'm giving this to Persona 5, although I love Witcher so much.
I agree with you, man. I think Witcher 3 is a masterpiece, but thinking about going back to that game again, it feels like a chore because I mean both these games are very similar in length.
Yep.
They're both very long, 100 hours at least.
Yeah, exactly.
But Persona 5 is just so warm. Like you can play that like an hour or two a night, even though you'll probably end up playing more. It's just it's a comfort food game. It's so good, so well written. Like Sam said, the soundtrack. There's only 5 CDs I have in my car, and they are the Persona soundtracks that came with the Japanese.
Wow,
Like I imported this game. I imported this game when it was only available in Japanese, and then I rebought it again. So,
Well, I'm glad we agreed on that. And
awesome.
I will check the straw poll. We can refresh it.
Okay. Who won?
It looks like it's a sweeping victory for God of
War. How bad? How bad of a victory?
It's 7-1. So
I'm the only one.
Okay.
Oh man, bunch of retards.
But you also have to realize with Souls games, like it's a certain type of gamer who can complete those games, as opposed to God of War, which is way more mainstream friendly. Okay, we are in our semifinals right now.
Okay.
So the semifinals right now, we have Nier Automata versus Sekiro.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Shadows Die Twice. And God of War versus Persona 5 Royale. So, for this one, oh my gosh, I will say,
damn,
this top half, Metacritic is whack because this top half, they're amazing, but I feel like it's a little bit weaker than the bottom half.
Yeah.
Like those last
one,
that could have been the finals.
I don't know. Like between Nier and Sekiro, they're both aesthetically 100% Flip. Like they are just. Yeah. I'm gonna give it to Nier.
What does your heart say?
My heart says Nier. My tears say Nier 100%. So I'm gonna say Nier.
Okay. Wow. All right. I'll give it to Nier as well. I'll give it to Nier.
And also, you finished Nier at least, so that says something to the quality of Nier.
Yeah, but I mean, I will say, like, again, me as a gamer, like I want to love Souls games so much because I know the quality is matched by a few games, and I know how amazing they are. For all the reasons you've been talking about, Flip, I know they're so good. And the combat is something that, I don't think any other game has the complexity and the payoff that the Souls games have. But to me, it's just, I just suck at gaming. I just suck at them, and it's so hard. For me, to the parts where I got in Bloodborne, it took me 30 hours. For you, it probably took 8. It's that bad.
So we're in agreement with Nier?
Yeah, I think we're in agreement. So this one, God of War, Persona 5 Royale, 2 giants. But if I'm going with my gut and my heart, I'm saying Persona 5 Royale.
I'm saying Persona 5 as well, man.
Okay. And I know I can see chat right now is upset. They're going.
Chat's gonna have
but it don't matter,
dude.
Okay.
I'm so glad God of War is not even in the top 2.
Okay.
Woo!
Here it is, guys. You wouldn't expect 2 weebs going with 2 Japanese games for the last
man.
But shocker, it's 2 Japanese games. Okay.
I just want to say, I am really shocked right now. Like really, really shocked right now.
I expected to go a little differently as well, I will say.
I thought you were going to go balls of the wall for God of War. The way we talked,
Yeah.
in private, like in text and on phone
Yeah.
calls, the way you spoke of God of War, I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to beat this dude's ass to get God of War to not be in the finals.
Yeah.
But we have. There's obviously so many better games than God of War. Like everyone in the chat is just going nuts, dude. I think if you're looking at these two games and this list is supposed to define the best game of the generation.
Yep.
I think the clear, obvious choice, which is a better work of art, which is something it's a really tough word to say, a phrase to say, a work of art would be Nier. I think Nier is a absolute triumph in not only game design, story design, world building. I think just as a whole package, Nier, and also I'm a big bullet hell fan, and those segments which are bullet helly are just.
I love those segments.
Oh, I love those segments, dude. Like I geeked out so hard over it. But that's really hard for me to say because Persona 5 is just as good of a game. But I think the writing in Nier takes it over just a little bit for me.
Oh.
Are we both having aneurysms right now?
This is so tough because when I beat Nier,
I couldn't believe it was a video game because it just is such like a work of art. It's one of those games you're like, man, like this. People who like rip on gaming and think it's a waste of time, like if they played an experience like this, they would know that is like absolutely false. And gaming can be so much deeper, so much more meaningful. Like it truly be art. But Persona 5 Royale is just. I grew up, a Pokemon fan. I grew up loving role-playing games, and I never really knew it. I never really knew I liked RPGs, JRPGs, but deep in my heart, I could feel it. And in high school, I tried to play more JRPGs, and I thought, maybe this is just a franchise or a genre of games that isn't for me. College I tried, maybe it's not for me. But Persona 5 flipped literally everything on its head. The storytelling, the amount of detail and love and heart that went into each palace, it's so unique. The characters, the combat, the music. It is, as much as I love Nier, Persona 5 Royale, to me, and I'm so surprised this came to this, but to me, it's not even the best on this list. It's the best game that I've played in the past decade. And I think it is truly a masterpiece in storytelling and gaming and combat and in everything that gaming has to offer.
I think you're right, but I think the writing and the story and the themes and everything else in Nier is just better, just slightly better.
And I do agree with you. I think the storytelling is better in Nier. I do agree with you there, but I think the additional. I think just. I'm not going to argue that Persona 5 is a better game because I don't think I can. I think they are neck and neck. I think at this point I'm going with personal. What's stuck with me more and what has made a bigger impact. I mean, for me, I think that's Persona 5.
I think we're going to do a straw poll, man.
I think we're
and I think this chat doesn't like us at all.
And this chat.
Have you read this stuff? They're being so mean.
Hey, it's okay. I'm okay with that.
Someone said, "Where's Uncharted 4?" In the garbage, like it belongs.
So as we have this straw poll going, we're gonna do a little quick recap so everybody who's joined late can kind of see what has gone on.
Oh man,
so
we're gonna get a lot of backlash
for some reason.
I can still see them. They're talking shit.
Okay. All right. So we have the straw poll up. Do a quick recap. We came First round, Code Vein beat Red Dead. Hey, we started off with that.
Wave Dash is being a salty vagina.
Dude,
so.
wait. It's okay,
God.
man. I know.
He said, "Hell no, I ain't voting now." We don't need your vote
passionate about
anyways,
these
Wave
games,
Dash.
and I love that. Gaming makes everybody passionate. This is just me and Flip. You know, we're going at it, and it's what
I can't believe Code Vein beat Red Dead.
Yeah, that might not age well.
I don't think it will.
Especially because it starts off the video. People are gonna be like, "All right, I'm not watching this shit."
Yeah, they're gonna be like, "Fuck these two idiots." Jesus.
Yeah. Anyways, even if Red Dead we didn't move it on, it would not have been Nier.
No.
And
God
personally,
no.
I enjoyed Spider-Man more than that. So we had that Code Vein going against Spider-Man to eventually Spider-Man winning, but Spider-Man ended up losing to Nier, and Nier actually beat Final Fantasy XIV, which I was shocked to see. But under that, we have Uncharted 4 beating Infamous, and then Sekiro beating Resogun, but Sekiro ended up beating Uncharted 4. No brainer there. I don't think anybody can really argue the other way around.
If you think if you think Uncharted 4 is a better game than Sekiro, then unsubscribe to my channel. I don't want to fucking talk to you ever again in my life. You're an idiot.
Don't sub to me. I think everybody's entitled to a gaming opinion. But... Okay.
Oh man.
Then we had Astrobot or Beat Saber beating Astrobot VR games. Last of Us 2 beating Star Wars, and then Last of Us 2 beat Beat Saber, but it ended up losing to Sekiro. That one was more of a tougher one for me, but objectively, I think Sekiro is a better game. Under that, we have God of War beating Until Dawn. God of War was really sweeping at the beginning, and the real fight came against Bloodborne, which, to me, and Flip, you can add to this, but to me, I could have seen that being the finals. I could have seen that being the last
I thought God of War was going to be in the finals, dude. Yeah. I thought, like, when I saw this list and how it was put together, I was like, shit. God of War is going to hit the end. Because the way you talked about it off air, guys, loves God of War.
I love it. I think it is so good. But we're talking, like, the PlayStation 4, I think it'll be looked back on as one of the best consoles of all time because of how many great games came out on it.
Izzy says Uncharted over Sekiro. Fight me, Flip. Izzy, you don't want these hands, dude.
Oh,
I will tickle you. I will tickle you till you piss your pants, Izzy.
Hey, he's done it to me. He's not joking. Okay.
I love you, Izzy.
Yeah. We got Witcher 3 was really steamrolling, and Persona 5 beat out Final Fantasy 7 Remake. That was its first real fight. But we eventually got to God of War versus Persona, and we both agreed that we thought Persona 5 Royale was the better overall game, better experience. So up the top, it came to Nier versus Sekiro, and that was a tough one as well. But I think me and Flip both can objectively see the masterpiece that Nier is. And now we're at the finals. And so I'm going to go ahead and refresh this poll to see where we're at. And it looks like we have a winner indeed with a 80% vote. The best game on the PlayStation 4 is, drumroll please, Persona 5 Royale.
I don't agree, but it is what it is.
This is the final two. And so both of these games are masterpieces in their own right. But we got an overall vote. We duked it out. Man to man, me and Flip went at it. We both had our ups and downs. He got his jabs in. He got his uppercuts. I got my body shots in. But we have a victorious winner. And that is Persona 5.
Sam, we should do this again, but with Switch games.
I would love to do that.
So it's in a couple weeks. Let's do it again. Switch games this time.
And we're even thinking about doing this for manga too. We think that would be pretty fun as well.
Oh man, dude, I would love to like do manga of the past 5 years? Like stuff that's been put out in English?
Yeah, even like a list of like what we like manga that we love. Just doing like a top 35 of what we love and going at it there.
Actually, dude, let's do that. I'll make a list of 20. You make a list of 20, and let's actually do that. Let's do best manga of all time.
Dude, like I said, I am without a doubt down. I want to get this on the screen, get us a nice little trailer.
Time to fight.
You're not going to get copyright strike for the music, are you?
Here, I'll turn the sound
You
off.
might. Dude, you actually might for the video too.
Nah, me and Atlas are tight. I just voted their game as the best overall. Zath, I see you. Manga would be tough, but that's where you have to be like opinionated with it, and you can't be as a like we were trying to be objective.
There's no Metacritic for manga.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to opinions 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Totally truth that, and that's where like, if we're just going Metacritic objectively, like Red Dead 2 would have won this, but that's not how we're going about it. We're giving our opinions plus trying to be objective as well. So it would be tough, but I think it's possible.
God, this game is so good.
Dude, it is.
Aesthetically too, just like even the menus are beautiful.
Oh, dude, when you open up the game, you're like, this is something different. When you get to the menu, you're like, man, this is. Dude, Makoto.
It's looking fine in that school outfit, dude. Duty says, I'm going to say now, Blade of the Immortal is better than Vagabond. I 100% agree.
I agree too. I'm not caught up on Vagabond though, but dang,
Vagabond's the Last of Us 2 of manga.
Oh my gosh, you're full of it. Oh my.
Beautiful to look at, pretentious as fuck.
Dude, it is. You just hate like any type of philosophical story.
No, I don't, dude. Nier is literally all philosophy.
Okay. Never mind. I take it back. Okay.
That's our winner.
We have our winner. Flip, is there is there any last words that you want to say to the chat for the vote? How it went down? Any last words?
I'm actually really surprised by how this went. I love Persona, but in my mind I was like, there's no way it's going to win against some of this stuff. But it did, and I'm actually really happy with the end result. Also, guys, subscribe to Sam. Sam is, you're obviously here, but Sam is one of the nicest people on this platform. I love him to death. And if anyone in the chat thinks Bethesda or Naughty Dog develop good games, then I'm sorry. I think your parents gave you a lobotomy when you were younger and you just don't remember it. So that's my final statement.
I love Flip, and I agree with a lot of his opinions, and some I don't. So just know that. But Flip, I want to thank you for joining. I thought it was actually really.
Thank
fun.
you for having me, man. This was the most fun I've had on YouTube in a while. So this is
I'm
a blast.
so glad to hear that. Well, with that, we're gonna conclude the stream. Chat, y'all had a serious role. Obviously, didn't go your full way. We have some upset fans in the chat, but I want to thank everybody for being here. And I hope you all have a great night.
I do want to say, Code Vein is a better game than Red Dead 2.
We're going to conclude it.